Gentlemen and gamers, welcome back to another patch note looky-loo. So this week we got patch 10.16, a very meaty big patch. Maybe not as meaty as 10.15 skins wise and additions wise, but a very important one nonetheless, as this one is the one where Ionia comes out, and I will be giving my opinions on Ionia as well as any other changes that Riot has decided to grace us with. Now, something that's interesting, which I don't know how it will affect us, but I guess we'll see in the future, is Riot's taking a week break next week. So they're basically saying, alright, we'll release Ionia this week, have fun with the event, we outie, we relaxing. Which in all honesty, they probably deserve, because they've been working dummy hard on this game and everything. I feel like they're overworked, especially with COVID. So, good for them. But anyway, going right into the patch notes. Alright, this is a long one. Oh boy. I have sausage, like, in my kitchen defrosting, so I can sit here for a while. We've got a big list of small tweaks. Okay, so nothing of value is happening this patch, I guess. Interesting. As we gear up for Worlds. Okay, yeah, so they're definitely trying to play it safe for Worlds. We think the meta's at a good place. Lol. Okay. Oh, and they're touching Yasuo. Maybe. Okay, we're bringing up the Zuz. Okay, from Mark's folks. Misfortune, Lucian, Tristana. Oh my god, AD buffs. And jungle folks. Okay. Omniprix. Karma has been an omnipresent pick. Interesting. Okay. Syndra, I agree with. Volibear, I definitely agree with. They are picked way too much. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, like they said here, they're taking some AFK time in the near future. Basically, 10.16 will last twice as long as a normal patch. Oh my god, fuck. We'll be skipping patch 10.17. We're planning to ship a set of balance changes and the time 10.17 would have launched. The next full patch will be 10.8. Wait, why don't they just delay 10.17? I don't understand why they're just skipping it. They could literally just delay it. But okay, whatever. Zoom your way down. Okay, cool. And then Tft Changes, we don't give a fuck. Holy shit, there's a lot of changes here. Alright, so new skins, new champions, and all that local jazz. Let's go over that. So we got... Before I even go into Ionia, we got more Spirit Blossom skins, and this is kind of the thing that's, I guess, pissing people off, and spoiler alert for next patch, we also have a new skin line coming called Psyops next patch, 10.18 now, and we're getting another legendary Sona skin, and the main problem, which is also present in Spirit Blossom, is that a lot of champions who already have a bunch of skins are getting more, and they're getting legendaries, no less. Ahri has a legendary, and this one, she's getting another one. Sona has an ultimate. Next patch, she's getting a legendary. Echo's getting another... Wait, is it Echo? No. I don't think it's Echo. It's, Shen is getting another skin. Vi is getting another skin. Ezreal, for Christ's sakes, is getting technically 2 skins, because he's getting a Prestige Edition and a Psyops skin. It's like, are you fucking joking me? This is insane. So, regardless of the people who are getting skins, because it's kind of fucking ridiculous, the skins themselves are pretty decent. Like, Spirit Blossom Ahri, I would say the effects-wise or whatever, I mean, it is definitely a legendary tiered skin, but the effects are kind of whatever. The charm, I think, is the weakest part. It's literally just a heart, like in base, but I guess a little different. But it's a decent skin. I probably would never use it unless I only have that skin for her. Like, as a legendary, I'd probably use the other one. Star Guardian, I think. Spirit Blossom Cass, super fucking good skin. Cass kind of needs some skins. Riven, decent skin. I would say it's probably one of her best, next to Dawnbringer. Really good. And then Kindred, super fucking good skin. I think this is her best skin. And she deserves it. She does not have that many skins. And then we get to the new champion, Ionia. So, if you like Yasuo, the most popular champion in League of Legends, you're gonna fucking like Ionia. Ionia is basically Yasuo, but, like, in my opinion, more kill. Yasuo is more defensive by the state of his wind wall, right? You pick Yasuo, yeah, you do damage, yeah, you dash around like a fucking crack dickhead. But one of the big things about Yasuo is the wind wall. He can negate ultis, he can negate ADs. The wind wall is super fucking powerful. Yone doesn't have a wind wall. He basically has everything else Yasuo has, except he doesn't rely on other people, and he just does more fucking damage. That's basically Yone. Yone is the more damage Yasuo. Because he has a fucking Z ulti on his E. But, Yone's really good. Yone's passive is basically his second auto. Does half magic, half physical, like Corki. His Q is Yasuo's Q, except the third proc of it, or the third stack of it, makes him dash and knock up. The W is a fucking arc that does max percent health, physical and magical damage, which is insane, and gives you a shield for each champion hit. The E is you go into fucking spirit wraith form, and any damage you do, while getting, you know, more move speed while in it, any damage you do at the end is, like, echoed by a certain percentage, which is insane. It's like fucking Kayn passive and Z ulti, in a way. And then his ulti is he fucking animates you with a long-ass dash that cuts you, and he teleports behind you, knocks you up. And he doesn't need a knock-up anywhere in his kit to do any of his things, so he's better than Yasuo. His ulti does physical and magical damage, a lot more of it too. He gains double crit. His crits hit for less, his Q scales off attack speed. He's basically the better fucking Yasuo. He looks super cool, I'm super fucking excited, and I'm so sad he's coming out in 3 days. But I would say, this, like, I haven't seen it with Lilia, because Lilia apparently is super fucking bad. She's like one of the lowest win rate champs, like, at least in lane. I haven't even seen her jungle. And when I have, I fucking killed her when she ganked me. But Lilia looks like she's sucking dick, even though I think she's fun. Yone looks like he's gonna be exactly like Yasuo, only a bit better. And it's like, oh mama. This guy's gonna get insta-pick banned almost every game, I feel like. And I'm so sad because it's gonna be so hard to get him. But he's super cool, and I'm super excited. Anyway. Summoner's Rift Ranked Split 3 begins. Hopefully, at this point, they add in the... Yes, they added in the Eternals, yes! 750 split points. A random Series 1 Eternal capsule. That is so ass. They made it, like, Riot made it sound like, oh yeah, for these ranked split rewards, you'll finally get some good shit. You know, you could get Eternals, you can earn them through in-game. Yeah, we get one capsule. That means I could get a fucking Eternal for like Zac, a person I never or will never play, and then I have to wait till a whole next split to get one more. Are you shitting me, Riot? If that's how it works. If that's how it works, I'm very upset. But I mean, it's better than nothing, but still, that's very upsetting. And then Yone comes out, like I said, really cool, and the cinematic for him was fucking amazing. But yeah, Yone's pretty good. Okay, Akali. What do I think of Akali? I think Akali's super fucking weak. I think she got nerfed way too hard. No one plays her. I like that no one plays her except the Akali mains that love her. And she's pretty fucking useless. As an AD, I am still scared of her. And if she gets fed, it's fucking insane. But it's very much harder to do so. And I'm actually pretty happy where she's at. Because she's barely used. And if she's used, she's hard as shit. So I actually really like that she's in the dirt. So I'm assuming we're going to see buffs because they like her in competitive. Now that Akali's been in the shadows of Pro, okay, like I said, we can help her hit the Assassin's Mark of all levels, aka buffing her as well as in Pro, to early game oh god, no. Okay, what are they doing? They're upping her Q base damage by 5. That does absolutely nothing. They're making her E do magic damage. This basically does nothing. Akali's still shit. Alright, Ashe. Ashe is one of the biggest asses in League of Legends Marksman's class. She, to me, is like Caitlyn. She has obscene range for no reason. She's very utility-based, and she scales like a fucking truck, and she's super safe. Her W has such long range. She has so much safety. The only caveat about her is pre-6, she has no escape, but post-6, she can use her ult as a peel or engage tool. It's up almost fucking constantly, and she has a lot of fucking range and attack speed and scales like a fucking truck. She has nice damage. She gains basically guaranteed damage with crit chance. She's an insane AD, and she's super fucking good. And she also has 2 legendaries, which I'm happy about. When it happens to anyone else but ADs, I get sad. When it happens to ADs, I like it. But anyway, yeah, Ashe has been omnipresent, as they like to say. Or I don't even know if they said Ashe, but she has been fucking omnipresent. She's basically like a counterpick to Aphelios in pro play. I don't even know if Aphelios is good anymore. They haven't touched him this patch, so I'm assuming he's finally like decently balanced. AKA probably unusable. But yeah, I think Ashe is pretty rampant. But I don't think she's OP. I just think she's good. And if you're good as an AD, you're not that good. Being good, like being a strong AD does not mean like the character's good. It just means you're strong for an AD. But anyway, I'm assuming to see nerfs here. We're pulling back on the scaling Ashe buff we gave her in 10.8 to make more space for other marksmen with less early game power and utility to shine late game against her. That is actually a huge fucking nerf. They're nerfing the attack speed of Q by fucking 20%. That is a huge nerf. But it's one that honestly probably doesn't really matter because you're going lethal tempo anyway. So, this is fine. It's definitely going to hurt though. You're probably going to notice it. A lot of people will probably fucking notice it. But it should be fine. It won't take away from her strengths. Alright, Barty. Barty has also been another omnipresent support for some reason in pro play. I've barely seen him, and I'm glad I've barely seen him in regular play. The way I see Bard is you need to be a fucking pro player to play Bard effectively. If you're not a pro player, or a Bard fucking one trick with 1,000,000 mastery, and even then it's questionable. You have to be sick in the head to do that. I don't trust Bard players. To do good on Bard, you have to be so mechanical and so gifted. It's actually like really bad. Like how well Bard does. I fucking see Dan's online. Fucking Zhao's and Valorant. Anyway. Yeah, Bard has like a very high skill gap. And he's been played in pro play a lot. And I never see him in normals, so that means he's probably gonna get fucking nerfed. So let's see, what are they doing? Base health decreased, yep. W minimum heal decreased. Now see, that's interesting. Because I feel like the heal is pretty fucking wiener. Because not only is the heal wiener even at max like bloom of the flower, of the shrine, it's really fucking poor. It takes long to even ramp up to give you the full heal, and I feel like people just use it for move speed. Like, the heal's okay, but it's pretty ass, and you max it last, too. So it's like, it's pretty fucking shit, honestly. It's really shit. So, he's only getting nerfed because he's played in pro play. This is only a nerf towards the pro players. His base health is going down by 15. I guess that does something in pro play. The maximum heal is going down by a lot, actually. Wow, that's actually a good amount. I mean, it was barely healing before. It healed for, like, what, 1 auto? Now it's healing for less than an auto. So it's, like, it's even more fucking useless. And that's the maximum heal you get, too. That is so ass. Bard's heal shouldn't even be a heal. It should honestly just be a point-and-click move speed buff. But, yeah. Bard, pretty fucking shit. You're never gonna see him in fucking solo queue unless it's a main. Evelyn. What do I think of Evelyn? Evelyn is really good, low-key, at doing a lot of damage if she can get her combo off correctly. That's the thing about Evelyn. Evelyn, if she gets the mark on you and the mark fully pops, she shreds so much MR. I remember I played Nasus, and as Nasus you're pretty fucking tanky. And if you ult as Nasus, you get even tankier because you get MR. I remember I was playing Nasus. No one on their enemy team could really fucking chunk me. And then Evelyn popped the mark on me and fucking halved me. I was like fucking astonished. I was like, Jesus Christ, that mark is no joke. But to do that, it's very hard. And you're basically a jungler that, unless it's a very obvious gank and they're very pushed up, the enemy basically isn't going to see you until level 6. And even then, to pull off your full combo and everything, it's pretty fucking difficult, and early game junglers are very, very present right now from what I'm seeing. So, Evelyn just isn't having a place. She's too slow to ramp up, honestly. But she's not bad. I don't think she's bad. She's just slow, and she's more of the assassin scaling jungler, which isn't in meta right now. So, I'm assuming to see buffs. I doubt we'll ever see nerfs to this. Q cooldown decreased. That's good. Hitting a monster no longer refunds 50% of its cooldown. That's fine. So this is honestly better for for laning Evelyn and for ganking Evelyn. Because, I mean, they basically give you the cooldown always. The 50% cooldown they always have given you now. So regardless of if you had a monster, which you benefited from before, to hitting a champion, which you didn't benefit from, now you're always getting the benefit no matter what. Even if you fucking miss, you get the benefit. This is actually a huge as fuck change to Evelyn's. I know the Evelyn mains are probably ecstatic about this. This is actually insane. And yeah, this is actually fucking crazy. She's gonna spam Q now so much. Because cooldown is gonna affect this now. Oh my god, that's so fucking good. That's actually so fucking good. But anyway, yeah, I think Evelyn's actually really nice now. I might actually play her. I love scaling junglers and kill junglers. I like carry junglers, but yeah, this seems like a super fucking big buff for Evelyn. I like this. They didn't touch anything because her damage was fine, her shred was fine. It's just she was too slow, and this kind of speeds her up a bit. Well, maybe not speeds her up. Her clear should be the same, but it helps her like ganking. She could probably get off a lot more Qs now, and her overall damage goes up because of that. Really good. Really good. Fiora. Fiora's pretty shit. I've never seen her. And she's probably getting a buff because I never see her. Q cooldown decreased. On-hit cooldown reduction decreased. Wait, what? We've identified a lack of scaling skirmishers who can keep pressure in side lanes. Because of this, we want to keep Fiora in tip-top form. We're helping her strike quickly, strike deftly in early fights. Yeah, they're buffing a lot of early game from what I'm seeing. So the cooldown is going down by 3 and then by 2 later. Okay, that's not bad. Q cooldown is always good to reduce. Enemy hit cooldown reduction 60%, 50%. So it used to be 6.4, 5.6, 6.5, 5.63. Wow, wait, it's actually better now. Wait, Fiora's actually a lot better with her Q early, yeah. This is like something you need to do. Again, it's not changing damage buffs. Or it's not changing damage values, it's changing how much, or not how much, sorry, how often your damage goes out. This is actually a super fucking good change. Like, this is insane. This is really fucking good. Fiora actually might be played a little bit more now. This is really good. Oh, thank you. Nah. Deepest? Nah. Thank you. I got fruit. My grandma gave me fruit. Okay, anyway, Hecarim. What do I think of Hecarim? Hecarim still sucks ass. He's probably been getting buffs, if I remember correctly, recently. He hasn't really been getting any nerfs, but he still sucks dick. Because, again, he's... Actually, he could be an early game jungler, kind of, but... I guess he just doesn't do enough damage. If anything, I want to see a damage buff. Ironically. They're probably gonna... From the trend they've been going, they're probably not going to touch damage at all. Probably just going to touch cooldown or something. But Hecarim needs a buff, and I hope to see a damage buff. The Horseman has been at a trot. The E bonus move speed increased over time. Okay, I mean, that's technically buffing his damage. Bonus move speed is 25 to 75. The 4 seconds at maximum value. Okay, and then 25 to 100%. So not only is this increasing his ganking potential, it's also increasing his damage because he scales off move speed. This is actually really good. Ironically, a lot of these changes aren't big fucking changes, but they're changes that I think matter. I haven't seen this from Riot in a long time, and I'm honestly very fucking surprised. Like, all these changes are really, really minute changes, but changes that really do fucking help. This is actually super fucking good. Jax. What do I think of Jax? Jax is pretty bad, but that's because he's so one-dimensional. You E, you go in, you beat the fuck out of someone, and you either stay in or you get out. And you rinse and repeat. Jax is very one-dimensional, very telegraphed, very simple, very clear. And because of that, he has obvious strengths and obvious weaknesses. He's a pretty boring character, but at the same time a pretty fun character because of his simplicity. But I think he's not really a good character unless you're a Jax main and have a Omega brain and know how to trade very well. Like, going against a good Jax main is so fucking oppressive and annoying, but they're very rare. But regardless, they probably want to bring Jax into the hands of more people because he is a pretty cool champion and has a pretty nice legendary, so I'm assuming to see some buffs here. Jax, the E cooldown decreased, yep. Similar to Fiora, we're hoping to bring the Grandmaster back into the scene. Yeah, so I guess they're done buffing tanks, and they just want, like, skirmishers who, like, are half tanky, just, and, like, mostly nuke damage, kind of, to come back in, which I'm fine with. I actually like those picks top lane. I hate going against them, but I actually think they're pretty nice to have around. So, they're buffing the E. The E is going down by 2 seconds early. I mean, this matters in a couple situations, but it's not huge changes like the other ones. This is a decent change, and it's definitely welcomed, but it doesn't really do much. I think Jax is kind of going to be the same. Pretty bad, pretty low tier, but pretty decent. Okay. Oh my god, wait, we're getting a fucking Jhin change? What? Okay. Alright, let me talk about Jhin. So, Jhin is obviously one of, if not my favorite champion in the league. I love Jhin. I love playing him. I love his thematic. I love his lore. I love his skins. I have every one of his skins. I love Jhin. And I do really good on Jhin. He's super fucking fun. I think he's one of the best ADs in the game. Just released. Not maybe balance-wise, but just fun-wise and just how much I like him. I think he's one of the best ADs in the game. And he's pretty decent, you know, in the meta too. But the problem I have with Jhin is Riot really likes him, but because Riot likes him, he usually gets out of control, and Riot needs to, like, smack him on the face a little bit. So, Jhin is one of the few champions who, in my opinion, does not have any rune that complements him. He used to. He used to have, back in the, way back in the day, probably people don't even remember this. No one even watches this shit anyway, but people don't even remember that. Back in the day, there was a rune called... It wasn't even a rune, it was a mastery called Deathfire's Touch, and it basically applied a dot if you got hit by enemy abilities. And because Jhin scaled so heavily with AD, it was broken on Jhin. But that left, so Jhin didn't really have a good mastery anymore, because the rune system got introduced. After that, the rune system got introduced. 3-Cock Strike came in. 3-Cock Strike made Jhin really fucking good, because it applied on 3 of his autos, as it should. 3 autos, 3-Cock Strike, right? 3 of Jin's autos should get a benefit from that, and they were. Jin's first 3 autos, because he scales off attack speed, which gives him damage, would fucking nuke people. And they took that away, they called it a bug fix, and they basically made it so only 2 autos from 3-Cock Strike affect your AD, which is stupid and doesn't make sense. It's not a bug fix, it's a nerf. After that, I would say, is the time when Jhin basically had no real mastery to call his own. Obviously, there's decent masteries to go on him. The safest one, obviously, being Fleet Footwork. You could go PTA. It's very hard to do, though, because you get into, like, extended fights, and sometimes you don't even have enough autos to proc it, and it takes too long to proc it. It's very, like... It's very weird for Jhin to use it. It's not bad, but again, it's not the best. And then the other thing you could go is Dark Harvest, but even then, that's kind of like a bad tree for him to go, in my opinion. It's not the worst, but I personally don't like it. I like Yellow Tree the best on Jhin. But anyway... Aside from this whole fucking tangent, he had good items for him too. He had Jinsos, which helped him super fucking scale over 1,000 plus AD easily, and then they bug fixed that, quote unquote, aka nerfed it. So basically, anything that was good on Jhin was taken away from him and named as a bug fix. Like, bullshit, come on. So anyway, I don't even know why I went into the history of fucking Jhin nerfs and why, like, he got, like, fucked. But I'm assuming here we're going to see a fucking buff. He's actually not bad. I don't believe he's bad. He's obviously not the best. But I'm praying. I'm praying Riot fucking buffs him. Please, Riot, buff him. Passive final shot critical damage against structures increased. Wow, they increased his pushing power. This is so fucking stupid. Jhin hasn't been able to call the shots, especially around towers. Loosening his passive crit damage restriction from all the way back in 6.4 so he could take down structures. I mean, that's decent, but how much is it? 1.5 total AD. That's the same damage as a normal critical strike against towers. This is fucking stupid. No one gives a fucking shit. I mean, it's fine. I'm taking it. I like it, but it's just gonna help me get plating. Holy shit. Okay, Jinx. Oh my god. They're buffing ADs. I'm so happy. The way they've been going, they've only been buffing. They've barely been nerfing anything, which I really fucking like. So, what do I think of Jinx? Jinx, for some reason, is in a relatively weak spot, and it's weird. She has a lot of things ADs want. The only thing she doesn't have is mobility, but even then, it's kind of like an asterisk, because then she gets her passive. But Jinx's biggest weakness, I would say, is her mobility. She has a lot of range. She has a huge attack speed stim. She has an even better one with her passive. She has self-peel with her E if you're smart with it. She has a global execute ulti. She has a nuke damage, really good slowing W. It's like, she's a really good AD. I guess her only other weakness is she needs to scale. But once she scales, she's fucking insane. Now, maybe that's the problem, her scaling. I'm trying to think, because I'm almost positive they're not going to nerf her. She's pretty, like, mid to low tier AD. Maybe mid to medium high tier, but she's definitely not high tier. Unfortunately, I cannot answer that right now. She's definitely mid to high tier, but or mid to low tier, maybe mid to middle high. But we're gonna see buffs. I just have no clue to what. I hope her early game maybe, because that's like the worst part of Jinx. And if you don't get ahead, you basically do nothing, like every other AD, but except Ashe. But what are they doing? Fixed a bug in Jinx's R where the damage cap against monsters was capped against champions instead. That is a huge fucking bug. And you're telling me they're now getting to this? Are you shitting? Majorly impacting her power against enemies with high health. That's insane. We're bringing the super mega death, okay, by uncapping the damage against all targets. So not only is it a buff against champions, which should have been there, you know, from the beginning, it's now a buff against jungle monsters, so you might be able to actually steal, like, I guess jungle monsters better, or Baron. That's actually crazy. 275 for main target against champions, now uncapped against all targets. So yeah, that's the execute part. The execute part is like how much damage it does based on their missing health. That's insane that it was capped. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I felt it, maybe, but, like, that's insane that this was allowed for, like, I don't know how long this was going on, but that's actually an insane bug that should have been fucking hot fixed, honestly. I don't know how that wasn't hot fixed. That's insane. But hopefully she should be a little better now. Her ult might kill tanks. It might not. She's basically the same, though. This basically does next to nothing. Okay, Karma. Karma is used all the time in pro play. I hate Karmas unless they're really, really good. It's really, really hard to do good on Karma, and I hate Karmas. They basically have no identity that's unique to them. They have the identity of, I'm a pseudo buffer with move speed. I give you a pseudo shield that's not as good as someone else's unless I ulti empower it. At that point, I'm wasting my ulti. And she basically has, like, nothing unique to her. She's basically like a mishmash of other champions. And I've kind of said this before about her when she's come up. Like, her shielding isn't as great as someone else's. Her damage isn't as great as someone else's. And her move speed buffing and potential healing isn't as great as some of the other supports. She kind of has like a mix of three identities, and she's not good at either. So you could then argue, okay, maybe her identity is the Jack of all trades champion. But I feel like that's just bad, because if she doesn't do any of those things well and does them all decently, it kind of feels lackluster to me, and it feels like she's shit. And she's played a shit ton in pro play, so maybe she just has a high skill cap, but I assume she's going to get nerfed. Karma has continued to be a strong multi-role Flux champion who tends to have too much control and safety. We're trimming down her solo lane agency. Damn, yeah, okay. I think she was a problem in solo lane. I think that was way far past, like in the past. I don't think she's that much of an issue anymore. Anyway, they're nerfing her Q cost, which is fine. And the cooldown is going up by 2 seconds. This is fine. Karma's basically fucking useless. I don't like this champion. She's a little worse now. Nothing too big. Karthus. What do I think of Karthus? I've been seeing Tyler play him. I've been seeing some junglers play him. I've been seeing him suck ass, but I'd say the main problem about Karthus is his ulti and his passive, but they're never going to touch his fucking passive unless he's a super issue. And they might touch his ulti, although it's already a super long-ass cooldown and does decent damage, kind of. Honestly, maybe we could see a buff to Karthus, but maybe not, because, like, Because people are using him in high elo, he might get nerfed. But he could get buffed. I don't know. I could see it an either or. I could see a buff or a nerf, honestly. I don't know which one. Q damage ratio decreased. Now that we're seeing an increase in Karthus players and higher win rates. Okay. We're walking back one of the bigger buffs from 10.14 that lent him more strength. Damage ratio, 0.35 to 0.3. That definitely hurts Karthus a lot. The Q is your bread and butter ability. It's the whole thing of like Karthus's main damage, aside from his ulti. So nerfing that by 0.5 might seem like a little bit, but it adds up. Because you're queuing so much, the lost damage definitely adds up over time. So that's actually a pretty big nerf, I would say. Kha'Zix. Okay, I feel the same way about Kha'Zix as I feel with Nidalee. They're both useless as fuck junglers, and I hate them. Kha'Zix's whole thematic just doesn't fucking work. It's super shit. It's only working in very select scenarios, and it's even, like, shitty then, where it doesn't even, like, really help you. I just think this champion's shit. He's useless. He does nothing but feed, and if you pick him on my team, you're fucking trolling me. He better get buffed. If he doesn't get buffed, I'm actually surprised. The bug consumed and the bug adapted. Over the course of the past few patches on our last buff, Kha'Zix has crept above the pack for our skilled players. Yeah, I mean, maybe for the skilled players he's good. Even then, I think Kha'Zix is such a shitty jungler. God. Like, the only strength you have as Kha'Zix is you can get ahead early because you can invade, or you could catch someone out if they're alone early. But once you get to the mid game, people just like outdo you unless you're super fed, and then you just become like shit. They basically squish you. It's like so bad. I hate Kha'Zix so much. And they're basically nerfing his isolated target damage by 10% on his Q. This is fucking stupid. I hate Kha'Zix. He's bad. This just makes him worse. He fucking sucks. He probably needed a buff, honestly. Lucian. Lucian is one of the worst ADs. Why? Because of his range. All they fucking need to do, 550 range. Hell, give him 525. He has 500. He is one of the lowest range ADs. Like, it's insane how much that would help him. But Riot refuses to give it to him. You have people who can throw feathers farther than he can shoot a gun, which doesn't make any fucking sense. But anyway, Lucian's damage is pretty decent. It's just his range gets overshadowed and he doesn't ramp up as hard as he used to, I guess. So I'm almost positive we're going to see buffs. I'm almost 100% sure we're never going to see this guy get nerfed in the state he's in now. Lucian has been out of meta for a while, yes. Losing consistently to his more meta peers with longer ranges, even in the beginning phases of the game. Yep, he just gets bullied out. We're putting him back on the path of vengeance by increasing his power. The other thing I want to bring up that's bad about Lucian, which is kind of what happened, which made him weak, is a lot of non-supports started being played support, and without setup for the level 2 power spike or the level 3, Lucian kind of just, like, again, loses because of his range. A lot of the time before, in the before times, you would get supports like Thresh, Blitz, actual supports, maybe like Janna, who could maybe have some CC to help you set up to try and get the kill. Now you have people who aren't even fucking supports going down there and helping no one but themselves, and because of that, Lucian's basically suffering, and it's terrible. But yeah, I'm almost positive we're going to buff Lucian. So they're increasing his power. Interesting. His Q is getting buffed by 10, which is pretty decent because it's a very early game centric ability. Late game it barely does anything, I'd say, but give you your passive and decent damage. And then the R, total damage or total shots is 20 to 22, 25 to 28, 30 to 34. Yeah, the ulti on Lucian is basically ignorable. Like, it does so little damage, it's stupid. Maybe early to mid game it's like decent, but late game, unless you're hitting a squishy, obviously, but anything can damage a squishy, it really is like lackluster. It's like, it looks so cool, and based on the numbers you think, wow, this thing does like 2,000 something damage, and then you hit someone and it barely does anything and you miss most of the shots anyway. It's like, wow, this is definitely something. Ironically enough, the new champion got leaked, and I think it's Samira, who's an AD, and she's supposed to be a combo AD, and that kind of makes me cry a little bit because they're basically forgetting that Lucian is supposed to be the combo AD. You get your W on someone, You Q them, you get move speed, you E to like dodge around, and then you ulti to keep the combo up by refreshing the move speed on them, and you just chase them down and you do more damage to them because you're passive. You're really good like boxer and trader because of your passive, but I guess they just gave up on Lucian and they're trying to go at it with Samira. Hopefully she's good, hopefully she's fun, but whenever she comes out, we'll see. MF is one of the higher tier ADs from what I remember, although she got nerfed. I haven't really seen her that much. The only person I've seen play her is Jessie, ironically enough, and she's okay. I don't think she's in a bad place, but I don't know what they could do. They could either go for a buff or a nerf. I could see both being done. She's not that bad, she's not that good. We give her a small love tap to make sure she's relevant as an early game marksman. Again, a lot of this patch just seems so oriented on the early, which is quite nice because that's mainly the problem. Her base damage is going up by 2. Okay, this does nothing. Morgana, what do I think of Morgana? She's basically very, again, one-dimensional, similar to Jax. You only play her for the engage on the ulti and the Q route. Actually, and the Black Shield. She's actually very versatile. Never mind. Ignore what I just fucking said. I'm an idiot. But, in terms of, like, her kit, right? Unless you flash an ult in, and aside from the Black Shield, your Q is basically the bread and butter of your kit. That's the main thing. And the Black Shield, but the Black Shield is just, like, more defensive. But, the thing I just hate about Morgana is she builds AP, and she basically doesn't do enough damage to warrant building AP, and for God knows why, all the Morganas I play with do not want to build support. I'm like, you're not doing any damage, you're building full AP. I mean, I could understand getting Zanya. Zanya's okay. That you should fucking get, because it synergizes with your ulti, but the Morganas just build AP, do fucking nothing, miss the Q, and then are useless, and then just put the Black Shield on you and are like, look, I'm helping, I'm good. Fuck you. But I think she's pretty shit, because if you miss the Q, you basically have to burn Flash to even be relevant in a team fight, aside from a Black Shield. But even then, if you Black Shield someone, that's all you're doing as a champion, and then the other support, hopefully if they're playing an actual support, will just overshadow you, because they have more than one ability that can be useful to the team without wasting Flash. But I'm assuming to see a buff. Valiant has been awash with dive-heavy supports with strong CC. So technically Morgana should be played then because of the Black Shield, if this is true. But they're buffing the Q by 1 second. It's a very dangerous thing to do, because if you get hit by the Q, it's a long-ass route. And then you build, you know, cooldown on Morgana anyway, so the Q is up very often. But I think this is fine, honestly. I think this gives Morgana a lot of... excuse me. Not a lot of strength, but a decent amount of strength in her main ability, which, you know, you kind of pick her for, the root. Maybe the Black Shield, but mostly the root. I think this is good. Not like a huge buff, but a pretty good buff. I mean, it's only 1 second, but still, that's decent. You have to think of it going with cooldown, too. What do I think of Nautilus? I think Nautilus is pretty shit. I barely see him at all, which is ironic because I love Nautilus as a support. I think he could only go support. That little time when he was mid lane fucking was a joke, and it was pretty funny to watch, but it wasn't gonna stick. It wasn't gonna stay. So I think Nautilus is shit. I think he needs to get buffed. I think he needs to be more tanky. Because ironically enough, whenever I go against the Nautilus, I feel like I just shred him. And like, you have this giant like 20-foot anchor man, and then he just gets like cleaved by an AD. Like, okay. I think they need to buff his tankiness, if anything. What are they doing? Now has been anchored as a persistent menace in pro bot lanes. Where? Where has this been done? So we're lowering his resilience to harass. What? This is the exact opposite of everything I said. So that either tells me one of two things. That either tells me it's different in pro play, which might be the case, or Riot has no fucking clue what they're talking about, which I also think could be the case. But either way, it seems like a change that just doesn't make sense, and I do not feel this way. His W shield already, like, again, look how much it shields for. 60 level 1. I mean, it does scale off health too, but like 60 level 1 to 45, that's still less than an auto. Like, come on, what are you doing? But I think this is the only change I don't agree with, like, fully right now on this patch. Nico. I'm surprised we're not seeing any Lilia changes, but we might not have got to it. I have to count my alphabet real quick. C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Yeah, wow, we're not seeing any Lilia changes. That's actually surprising. Considering she's one of the worst champions and she's a new one. But, let's see. Nico. What do I think of Nico? The mom of, Lilia. I think Nico's okay. There's a pretty nasty combo with, Ballista in her, which is really good bot lane. But aside from that, she's not a mid laner, I don't think. She's a really shitty mid laner. I mean, you could play her mid, that was her intended role, but she's pretty fucking shitty. So I'm assuming to see buffs to her, because when a mid laner goes support, they really don't like that. Because either that means they're not good enough to be mid and too good at support. Even though I think Nico is neither unless you pair her with Kalista. So what are they doing? Giving Nico some love in her trading and wave clear against other prominent mids. Yeah, because she doesn't win against anyone. We think this will help her come into her own. Okay. So the damage is going up for the Q by 10, and the bloom damage is going up by 5. This does basically nothing. Ironically enough, I think the main problem with Nico is her identity. It's like, this is always brought up as a really fucking good joke, and it's actually hilarious, right? So, look at Nico. Nico's whole kit is, okay, aside from the root, right? I want to keep you in place, or I want to, like, keep you at a semi-decent way away, and then if you get close to me, I can escape. Now, the opposite way, if you could think of it, is, okay, I want to root you, I want to go in, and I want to nuke you with the ulti. So, it feels just very awkward using her kit, because it's, like, kind of two things that you don't really do either one that well, and you're encouraged to do both. Like, you can play Nico just really far back, root them with the max root, and then just Q poke them. Or you could just try and go in and nuke them with the ulti, but either one doesn't feel too good. Now, imagine, lore-wise, Nico's a chameleon, right? She turns into other champions and mimics them. And her ulti is, okay, I go in, and I just do like a gigantic fucking boom, and I get a shield. Now, look at Sylas. Sylas's whole thing is, I'm a mage, right? I'm a mage, I have magic. Now, yeah, his magic is kind of to steal other people's magic, so his ulti makes sense. But imagine if Nico had that shit. Imagine if Nico, the chameleon who could copy other champions, can copy their ults and use that. Whereas Sylas, who literally has an engage tool called Abscond and Abduct, where he dashes onto you and is right on top of you. Imagine if his ulti was Nico's ulti and Nico's was his. It'd be so much fucking better and make so much more fucking sense. Like, oh, Sylas has those magic bonds on him that store magic. What if for your ulti you explode them and deal the magic damage out? It makes sense. Oh, thank you. Like, it's so much better just thinking about it. And I think it would help both characters, honestly. But it's stupid. It's fucking weird. But, yeah, this basically does nothing for Nico. I think she should be switched with Sylas. Nocturne. What do I think of Nocturne? I think Nocturne is actually one of the prominent junglers, so he's probably going to get nerfed. He's very one-dimensional. You play him for the ulti Q, kill someone combo, and then that's basically it. So, I think he's going to get nerfed because we're seeing him in pro play. Excuse me. Passive cooldown increased. Enemy champions and monsters on hit cooldown refund increased. Interesting. He's chopping down mid laners at an alarming rate in average play. Wow, not in pro play. Trimming his pushing and sustained power while letting him be at similar power level in the jungle. So they want to encourage people to go in jungle, but not in lane. Okay. Yeah, because this isn't increased by minions. It's only by champs and monsters. Yeah, I mean, overall, this could be a buff. Because you do technically get more cooldown out of basics, out of on-hit basics. So, technically, if you're autoing a jungle camp or a champion sustained, you should be getting more worth out of this now. But, yeah, it looks like they just don't like lane Nocturne. I didn't even think it was that good anyway. But I just think Nocturne is basically the same. Recon! Same thing about Recon that I said last patch. Recon is basically, was the best engage, disengage guy. Like, he would go in, engage, disrupt everyone, then get back out and be safe with it. They didn't like that. They nerfed him, and he was just shit ever since. I feel like we're just gonna keep seeing him buffed because he's never fucking played anymore. Our bonus move speed increased. Yep. He still needs to get a move on. We're amping the tempo so he could beat down enemies or fucking run away like a pussy like he is. The buff they're actually giving him, though, seems to be quite substantial. 50 to 75 is nothing to laugh at. He's actually super fucking fast. Ironically enough, I didn't think he had a problem landing the ulti, but I guess now it's just more so, which is quite fine to me. Recon needs it. Okay, Set. They're definitely, I'm almost positive, gonna nerf Set. Why? Because he can be played in almost any role. He could play top, he could play support, he could play jungle, he could play mid. The only thing you can't play him, I think, is AD because he doesn't scale that well. But you could basically flex him into any role, and that is his main strength in pro play, and they do not like that. So, what are they doing? They're almost certainly going to nerf. Reeling back Set players who rely on his base values with a very tanky build to plow their way through games. So, wow, they're nerfing the W. The base damage on the W is going down by 20, which is fine because you only really get it for the true damage and the shield. And the Facebreaker damage, which I think was a little lackluster anyway, is going way down later. Wow, it's actually a huge nerf. They really don't like him doing base damage. Or they maybe just like him punching. Interesting. I feel like this hurts his top lane more than anything. Or maybe they're encouraging you to build more damage, which ironically enough isn't what he's doing. He's building more just straight tank. But I think the best way to do this wasn't to nerf the base damage, it was to improve his scalings. Maybe nerf the base damage not as much as they did, but improve his scalings with damage. So that way he's at least incentivized to build more damage and not be tanky. But, I mean, hey, their way is a similar way to reach the conclusion. I think my way was just a little better to keep him relevant and fun. But whatever. Set is basically the same. I don't think this really changes much. If anything, he's probably not going to be used top now. He's probably just going to be used as jungler support. But, whatever. Skarner. What do I think of Skarner? He got Omega buffed again and again and again. And no one's playing him, so he's probably going to keep getting buffed. What are they doing? They're buffing him. Okay. The Q damage is going up by 0.5, and the cost is going down. All these are really good changes, and again, it's just going to get to the point where Skarner's overtuned and overbuffed, and he's going to be a menace, and then they're going to nerf him, and we're going to go into the same process. But will this get him to the point where he's overtuned and buffed? I don't know. I don't know, because, again, I haven't played or seen or played against a Skarner, so I have no way to gauge how good he is. I just think he's always going to be shit until we start seeing him. And when we start seeing him is probably when he's going to be OP. Syndra. Syndra is omnipresent in pro play as an AD, as a mage, as a mid laner. She's definitely getting nerfed, which is quite sad because I finally think she's in a decent spot, kind of similar to where she was in the past, where you were actually scared of her damage and her scaling. We continue to sharpen Syndra's power. She remains as dominant pick in pro play. Yep. What are they doing? They're nerfing the late game by 20. This does absolutely fucking nothing. Tristana. Interesting. What are they doing to Trist? I think Trist is a mid to high tier AD. I would counter similar to Jinx, probably a little bit better though. She's probably a little bit better than Jinx just in terms of everything. But she's an AD, so I'm assuming we're going to see buffs. I don't think any AD deserves to get nerfed. So what are they doing? E now deals 1% increased damage per 3% critical strike chance. Let me do the math on this. So let me think how much this increases. Let's say late game, a normal crit chance might be at least 50. Let's go with the bottom value of at least 50, because you're at least getting 2 crit items. At 50% crit, you're doing maybe around 15% increased damage. I wonder if it scales with how much you auto the bomb, though. If it scales, it's pretty good. If not, it's still a damage buff, but up to 33.3 increased damage. That's probably at 100, right? Yeah, it's probably at 100. I mean, no one gets just 50% crit, so I would say maybe 75, right? So at that point, you're getting at least 20% more damage, and it already does a really good bit of damage, especially with PTA. Honestly, this is a really fucking good buff for her, and it's a buff that's a scaling buff, more importantly. So it just further pushes Tristana's fantasy of I'm a scaling AD, and when I get crit, I'm gonna hurt even more now with my E and PTA. This is really fucking good, actually. This is actually super good. I might actually play Trist a little bit more now. Veigar. I think Veigar is shit. I used to love Veigar. I mean, he still holds a special place in my heart, but he's just shit. I hate the thing you go on him. Unlike Jhin, he actually has a rune that's super good on him, but I hate the rune and I hate the playstyle. It's the spooky ghost fucking glacial augment, I freeze you and then I kill you playstyle. It's not bad, but I think Veigar's best thing is a support. Fuck the mid lane. He's basically a support. And even then he's shit early, but he just scales. So I think he's ass, and it makes me really sad to say that, but I think he's really ass. What are they doing? So they want to buff his mid. They're giving him more MR. He's already quite powerful in bot lane. I mean, this also helps in bot lane too, because a lot of what you go against in bot lane that pressures you is magic, I would say, from the other support, quote unquote. So this is actually fine. This is a Veigar buff that's decent. It doesn't really do that much, but it's something. It really doesn't change shit though. Volibear. Volibear is insane. He does a lot, and he's super fucking tanky. He's always picked in pro play. He's gonna get nerfed. Volibear is a rare beast that is relentlessly bringing the storm for our average and pro players. Nice. So reducing his mobility. That's fine. Base move speed. Yeah, I feel like the Q, like, compared to old Volibear, the new Volibear Q, when you max it, you're so fucking fast. Like, let's think about this logically, right? When you're running at a champion, it doubles. So it was going from 35 to 70% if you're running at someone, and if they try and CC you, you basically reset it and they're fucked. They reset it and they're fucked. Like, it was insane how much move speed you got. So now they're changing it late game to 26%. So doubled, that's 52%. That's still pretty fucking good. That's still pretty good. But, very interesting. I would say this is a fine nerf. I don't want them to touch his damage values or anything, but this is fine. Yasuo, they actually are changing him. Holy shit. I mean, I guess he needs to be, like, cool to even match Yon's coolness and, you know, how much good Yon's gonna do, but, yeah, I'm pretty sure they have to buff him because it's been a while since Yasuo's been touched, and ironically enough, he isn't bad. He is pretty good, but he has a high skill gap, aka, you know, all the Yasuo mains going 0-10 and shit. So I think Yon's gonna do better than him, and because of that, they have to kinda buff him. So what are they doing? Carefully buffing Yasuo target mid lane and pro play. Like Veigar, we're giving him more breathing room in mid, even though he's played bot too. But the magic resist is going up by 2, and then his base damage on his R is going up by 50 mid and then 100 late. I honestly think they're doing that to try and match Yon's damage, because Yon's damage is just like so fucking much on his ulti. Yon's damage is insane. Especially combined with the E where it echoes the damage. It's fucking nuts. But good Yasuo buffs. He didn't really need it, but he didn't need to get nerfed, and it's fine to give him this level of buffs. It's not anything crazy. And then Ziggles. Ziggles is pretty fucking shit. Again, the biggest joke I think with Ziggs is, hey, here at Riot, we didn't like Ziggs' pushing power. Yeah, I have no clue who that is, so. We didn't like Ziggs' pushing power, so we're gonna increase his pushing power and make it so he destroys turrets. It's like, okay. And then after that, they kind of really didn't touch him, but I feel like it's a similar thing to Skar, what's gonna happen to Ziggs. What does Ziggs do? He wave clears and he just chucks shit at you, and he has decent range with the ulti, but aside from that, it's like, it doesn't really do much. And I don't know why he's not playing, honestly. I think honestly it's just the damage, but let's see. Bumping up this bombing bud till it bonk down buildings. Okay. So the bonus damage on the passive is 0.5, so you're getting it front loaded. Nice. The bonus damage to multipliers is 2.5. That's actually insane. Ziggs' pushing power is going to be insane. I honestly think Ziggs scales pretty well too. I honestly think the only problem with Ziggs is his early to mid game damage, and like, it just doesn't ramp up until after that. Because Ziggs before that is pretty fucking shit. He probably has a lot of mana problems. and he doesn't do as much damage as anyone else. But I think Ziggs scales pretty fucking well too. So this is a fine buff. They're just pushing his thematic of, hey, I want to push towers, even though Riot said they didn't like that. Interesting. So those are champion changes. The runes, the only change we're getting is for Nimbus Cloak. I feel like this is just going to get nerfed because a lot of people use this, especially in the jungle because of Smite. So we're probably going to see this nerf. Has been the go-to for both junglers and AD as a consistent offensive and defensive tool. I guess, yeah, when you heal, you get away faster, or you could, like, chase better. Lowering some of its overall strength, okay. Smite and Hex Flash. Oh, yeah, that too. I forgot about Hex Flash. Bonus move speed is 10, 20, 30. That's honestly more in line with what it should be. And it now has a... Oh, no, it already had a cooldown. Okay, 0, 100, 250. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Nimbus Cloak, I think, sucks ass. I hate using it. I never use it. But, that's fine. Ionia Clash. Ionia Clash is coming out, and I have no friends, so I'm probably going to be playing it with nobody. So that's cool. And I don't even care about it anymore. I mean, I'd like to play it, but no one's fucking there for it. And then Nexus Blitz changes. I probably should read these, because I do play a lot of Nexus Blitz, but, this is whatever. Yeah, these are whatever. Oh wait, rewards changes? Oh no, map. Oh yeah, rewards changes. Ocean Soul Region value has been reduced by 25%. No one gives a shit. Okay, this is useless. DX11 beta test. What's this? An opt-in DX11 support. Yeah, I gotta read that later on. I want to see what that is, because I have the supercomputer now. I might be able to take advantage of that. Bug fixes. Oh, a lot of League client stuff. Let me read this. Fix an issue with the bottom line of chat and okay. Unable to retrieve settings. No longer continue to deal full damage if he dies right after blink. Wow, these are huge bug fixes. Jesus. And then the skins we went over and the chroma. Spirit Blossom Yome, baby. I wish they said when he would be released. I'm pretty sure it's Thursday, but let's see. Do they say it? Damn it! No, they don't. Do they say it on top here? Yome will be available August 6th. Okay, they do. So yeah, it is Thursday. God damn it. Fuck, we still have to wait. Oh, whatever. Okay, so pretty good, pretty good. Overall, this patch was pretty decent. They had minimal changes, which I didn't like. So the rating for this one isn't going to be that harsh. I would say overall, this patch garners a 7 out of 10 Marc Merrills. Not a bad patch. Very little stuff I didn't agree with, and a lot of decent changes. Just very small changes, but changes that mattered. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time for the Psyop skin release and whatever the fuck else they're doing. And it should be a while. It should be in, like, what, a month? So, I guess I'll see you guys in a month. Later.